Well, how do you do, Beckers, and how the heck are you? You know, sometimes I just like to have two beers side by side, not necessarily to pick out which one's better, but just to kind of explore differences of two beers in a similar style. I say similar because these are two beers not in the same style, but close. Here I have a traditional Mexican cerveza, Modelo Especial, a golden, full flavored Pilsner style lager with a clean, crisp finish. Their website, well, I had the website pulled up, but it just moved on to there. The website has listed 4.4%, 145 calories, as vegan of all things. Well-balanced taste, a light hop character with a crisp, clean finish. Modelo Especial is characterized by an orange blossom honey aroma with a hint of herb. They don't list IBUs, but having just drank one a few minutes ago, I'm going to guess. I'm going to guess it at 8 IBUs. So if you Modelo folks happen to be watching me, send me a message. Let me know if I'm right. I'm curious. I am. So I've got this one very cold here. Pouring it into my Michelob chalice. Let me put the can up there where you can see it. Let me show you that golden beer there. They do seem to have more color than certain American macros, sure. I mean, it was $17.28 for an 18-pack, so a little bit more than second-tier macros, a little bit less than first-tier macros. And now I've got this Flying Ace Lager. Flying Ace Lager, Mexican Villa. This is Mexican Villa. Mexican Villa isn't the brewer, though. The brewer is a Piney River. This was brewed for Mexican Villa, a chain of restaurants. I use the term Mexican restaurants very loosely. Here in the Ozarks. But now, originally just for a couple events, but now they are sold in some stores and in other places. I don't know if they're going to continue to make it, but I know it's out there at the moment. 5%, 12 RBU, 5%, 12 IBUs are the stats on this. And let me pour some into my Bellican glass here. It is a nice golden, yeah, similar color. Actually, I'm trying to get the colors up here. Let me move the can for a second so I can get both beers in here. Colors are almost identical, I would say. I mean, I'm a tad on the colorblind side, but you all tell me. Looked about the same to me. Although the aromas and the body are completely different. 4.4% says light hop character with crisp, clean finish. Modelo Especial character is characterized by an orange blossom honey aroma and a hint of herb. Yeah, you really can't kind of feel that orange blossom aroma. It doesn't have that grassy kind of tinny feel that most American macros have. While this one you can tell has a little bit more going on the nose. There are some herbal notes that say orange blossom here. Now you might get some orange blossom. I'm getting kind of maybe honeysuckle-like notes on the nose. It's a little bit sweet on the nose. So let me take a drink of this one here. Now they don't list the ingredients on their website. Gosh, that's good. But I'm gonna guess it. I think it does have corn. I don't know if it contains rice, but I think it contains corn. It'd be normal if they're trying to do a Mexican-style beer to contain rice and corn, but no longer in production. They had a beer called Crankbait Cream Ale. Now it is per style to use some sort of corn in a cream ale. Now they use flake corn. Now I understand this is a lager, not an ale, but this is very familiar to that crankbait in body and flavor. So I'm guessing what they're using is flake corn like they used in the crankbait. I'm also guessing that with a change of yeast, I mean, using a lager yeast, I bet the recipe is awful damn similar to the crankbait. Because the taste and body is very similar, although the finish is much more crisp, which would be due to the lager yeast. Now on the Modelo, It is surprisingly crisp. Actually, it is much cleaner and crisper than my Slim It series. Some of the macros that I was drinking, and then I went to some of the bottom end macros with the Milwaukee's Best Ice. That was putrid. I also tried a Rockdale, which made my insides cringe. And then I had some that are more familiar: Miller Lite, PBR. The honest truth is, those beers aren't for me. I'd like to say I can see why some folks drink them. I'm just not sure. Again, for me, they're just not for me. The flavor of the body just doesn't work. But what are you going to do, right? But actually, Mexican beer, maybe it's sentimental reasons, you know. Excuse me, that one snuck up on me. You know, it used to be, before that we had so many craft beers, that Mexican beer was thought to be better beer. You know what I mean? You know, we go to the Mexican restaurants, and you know, you drink your some like Corona. I've never liked Corona, to be honest with you. It's never had any flavor. But I think I you know, way back, you know, in the '80s. The people that drank Corona usually were people that didn't like a lot of flavor in their beer, and Corona seemed a little better than the stuff they were drinking, but still didn't have flavor. Now, Modelo is a much bolder beer, in my opinion, than Corona. Modelo, Tecate, in my opinion, are very similar. I used to drink a lot of Tecate. In the Mexican restaurants back in the day, we'd squeeze a lemon, put a little salt in it. Didn't pick up any lemon today. Or, not lemon, but lime. Squeeze a little lime and a little salt. I don't know why I said lemon, but lemon was on my mind. I forgot to pick up the lime, so I'm just drinking her as is. Drinking her naked. I'm eating it as is. Anyways, I digress. But yeah, these aren't the same style, but I see what they were doing here. They were wanting to make a light, easy drinking beer. Not offensive, but cleaner than most of your macros. That would work with just about any food that Mexican Villa might have. You know, the funny thing, my Mexican Villa story is when I first came to town, you know, growing up in California. When I first came to town, I asked someone where to go for Mexican food. At that time, there weren't really any options here but Mexican Villa. And somebody said, "Oh, that's the best Mexican food you'll ever have." And I went there and I took one bite, and I went, "Man, this stuff is putrid." Now, the truth is, over the years, I've come to understand and have gotten used to certain flavors. It isn't really Mexican food. It's not even Tex-Mex. Ozarks Mex, I guess, might be the best way to describe it. It's really more Mexican-inspired food. But there are certain things that, you know, it's like Taco Bell, right? I mean, it's not Mexican food, but sometimes you want that certain flavor. They've got a couple of things on the menu that the wife and I will get every once in a while. We'll get one thing and we'll split it. And it's just a certain flavor. But once you get to the understanding that you're not really drinking Mexican food, or not really eating Mexican food, is what I meant to say. They've only started, I don't know how many years now, and it feels like it's only been a couple, but it might be longer. Years ago, they didn't serve beer. It's only been recently that you can get beer there at all anyway, so. I love ordering when I go out to a certain restaurant, whether it be a Mexican restaurant or, you know, Italian restaurant or Chinese. I like to order the corresponding beer. I think it just makes everything better, the ambiance. But even at home, if I'm fixing Mexican food, I like to have a Modelo Especial or a Tecate. If I'm making mole or something of that nature, a Negra Modelo works perfect too. But on a day like this, when it's just shy of 100 with the heat index, so hot and humid out here that you couldn't fry an egg on a sidewalk, but you could steam the hell out of it. You know what I mean? A beer like this kind of hits a spot. But I need to get you drinking, so I'm not drinking a warm beer. So we work on my flying A's here. The bottom line, as far as adjuncts are concerned, in my particular opinion, is adjuncts themselves aren't inherently evil. But a lot of macro companies have made them evil by using them in the wrong way. By either buying the cheapest possible ingredients to use, or just using way too much, and using the cheapest malt possible on top of adding adjuncts. The difference with the beer like this Flying Ace Lager is, even if it does use some corn, and I'm pretty damn sure it does, is that, let me pull what I got left in here, is that they're using good malt to start with. So you're not dealing with that DMS situation. And that's really the difference. And I have a hard time making that argument to some of my my macro drinking friends every time they see a craft that has adjuncts. Well, I like those adjuncts, but it's not the same thing. One, they're using actual malt. They're using a certain percentage of malt, and the adjuncts are using or a better quality than what your macro that you know and love is using. There is a difference, y'all. You just got to use a little common sense. I had to be honest with you, or I have to be honest with you. I had to take a break from my Slimness series because those last two, the Rockdale, and then the very last one was the Milwaukee's Best Ice. That was just beyond horrid. It really was. I got a 32-ounce can, and I rarely drain pour anything. I mean, things got to be really awful for me to drain pour it. And I couldn't get through that can. It was way past god awful. I mean, it was bad. But here, I'll be honest with you, Modelo. I mean, it was $17.28, I believe, for the 18-pack. So even with tax, it's less than $6 a six-pack. Or I'm right at $6 a six-pack, which is still less than some top-tier, tier 1, I guess, however you'd like to call them, macros. A little more than, say, some of the more bargain macros that I mentioned. So there you go. Hold on, I got a burp here. Oh, there we go. Wow. I'm more concerned about the Modelo getting warm than I am the Flying Ace, but I don't want either to get warm. At the time when Piney River first made this for Mexican Villa, I don't think they intended to put it out, because they then came out with their own lager, River Access, which is brilliant. I did a video on it a while back. The River Access lager. So I don't know that they had intended. But this one doesn't. It doesn't have their name on it, other than to say brewed and canned in Bucyrus, Missouri, by Piney River. But it doesn't say Piney River. It just says Mexican Villa Cerveza Flying Ace Lager. So this clearly was made for the Mexican Villa chain. But it really is a good beer for the style it is. I really like it, to be honest with you. Am I going to compare it to an IPA? No, because that's asinine. I hate when people do that. Well, it's okay, Tom, but I like their IPA. But, well, so do I, you jackass. I'm not... How about we just keep beers within the style? I hate when people compare beers out of style. It drives me nuts. Anyways, things that drive the Beer Whisperer nuts for 1,000, Alex. Anyways, hey, let's end this. Let's end this nonsense. I am Tim the Beer Whisperer. Oh, biscuits and gravy. Prolific beer drinker, Purveyor of Wisdom. BeerVangelist, got a lot of word, but I'll get there. A little more going on the nose, a little more going on in the body, a little more going on in the flavor, if that's what you're looking for the Flying Ace. Still in all, very easy drinking. Oh, there we go. Excuse me, there it is. I had a burp stuck. And all around, good guy.